Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the iHeartRadio network every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Worldwide on iHeartRadio. Today is August the 25th, 2016, and we're actually broadcasting from a beautiful Grand Sierra Hotel in Reno, Nevada, on the 16th floor of a beautiful tower overlooking the valley here in Nevada. So as Charlton Big C Sports goes worldwide, we'll also be looking at some of the other areas of the country where we'll be following NFL football as well as college football. And I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also you good old boys out in London, England, as well as Berlin, Germany, and the great country of, Canada. I think I'm learning that Canada phrase, Big C. Also down in Australia, the south end of the planet, as well as the good old boys in Dubai. Big C, how's it going in the Southeastern Conference in your neck of the woods, Big C?
Charlton, it's hot down here today. We got a lot of humidity from all the rain that we had yesterday. But, just a beautiful day here in the South, getting ready for college football kickoff. We got 1 week from tonight, Charlton. 1 week from tonight, Alabama will be rolled Tide.
You say they're gonna get rolled on by the USC Tide? Is that what you said? Beware of the white horse, Big C. It's not Sleepy Hollow. But I'm telling you, I look so much forward to this time of the year. I was just at the campus at the University of Nevada where Colin Kaepernick played his football, and he's one of only two quarterbacks in the history of the NCAA to pass for 10,000 yards and rush for over 4,000 yards, total offense over 14,000 yards, and that's incredible, and that's what the 49ers have at the helm. I think he's going to be healthy enough to play their game tomorrow night against the Green Bay Packers, Big C. And we know when we talk about NFL football and you blend sports and Hollywood like the best of them, and I do want to always acknowledge my brethren at ESPN and Fox Sports because they're doing whole segments on Hollywood stars. They had a couple of stars on there. They were talking about what's a new movies coming up. I think Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran. There's a remake of that movie, Big C. And they actually
Robert De
Niro was on there. You're right. So they actually did a whole segment on that, Big C. So Charlton and Big C Sports, I keep telling people, Big C, I don't know what you have in that moonshine, but the things that you've talked about that I even see the major networks doing, but unlike us, when we acknowledge them, they don't acknowledge us yet, Big C, but eventually they will, Big C.
And Charlton, you gotta look at what they're doing. We've paved the way for a lot of new insight for these people. They're very stagnant on network television.
Yeah.
And as far as having new thoughts and ideas, you got guys that are reading the paper, not really understand what's going on, and then all of a sudden this new hot show on iHeartRadio was out there, and so they started listening and plagiarizing. Everybody does it in the industry, Charlton, but they've gone to a grand scale as far as taking. I even hear Stephen A. Smith emulating the way that I talk.
And I think he does it without the music. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Big C.
So even Stephen A. Smith has gotten brazen.
Yeah, and I love Stephen A. Smith. He's been in the media for so long, and I think this world of competition is great because I was just out watching the University of Nevada as they were getting ready for football drills, and they have a gorgeous stadium here at Mackey Stadium, and I think Chris Altfield, and I remember that they're doing so much work up here at the University of Nevada, and you and I bring up so much about what it is going to take for athletes to finally get paid. Big C, they're building a 7-story athletic tower here, a workout center that's free for all the students, so we know money's going to a good cause. But a lot of money's showing up from someplace. It's just the guys that help them make it, this doesn't seem to find his way down to them, Big C. But also I want to just congratulate the college football and all the kids are starting to get back on campus now. But I think even Nevada, they've upped their schedule. You're talking about can some of the top teams get knocked off? They're playing Notre Dame and Purdue. I mean, when would you have Nevada playing Notre Dame and then Purdue in the same season? I think their schedule is a lot stronger than someone of the schools in the Power 5, Big C, because I just think it's incredible when you go and take those games, you're playing in front of 80,000 fans, and here in Nevada holds about 40,000. That's a nice payday, but again, no money for the athletes, Big C. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I recall a couple years ago when Colin Kaepernick was there that they went down to the University of Notre Dame when they had Brady Quinn and Charlie Weiss, at the helm there at Notre Dame, and they took a drubbing there at Manti Te'o. They're also playing linebacker.
Yeah.
But, that's one of the things, Charlton. A lot of teams will set up these preseason games, early season games, trying to pad their schedule, make sure that they have some victories to start the season.
Yeah.
And when you talk about being nice paydays for the universities, we talked about that with South Carolina, and I believe it was Hawaii, that they're going to pay them like $1.4 million to come out and play them next year, opening the season.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money that moves back and forth in college football when you got these powerhouses bringing publicity. Ohio State has done it consistently over the years where they'll bring, Miami of Ohio in, a local state school, but they'll give them $700,000-$800,000 to come in and take a drubbing. I remember a few years ago they brought in the University of Buffalo when Khalil Mack was still there, Charlton, which made him a number one draft pick. After he put a whooping on the offensive tackles there at Ohio State, people saw that he was a legitimate player.
Yeah.
But as we look at college football and the druthers will continue, how will the athletes be compensated, Charlton, through the millions of dollars that they bring through the universities? How will they be compensated beyond just the scholarship that for most of them is meaningless because all of them don't graduate, Charlton?
Well, that's true, Big C. But also, I want to just say that this segment is sponsored by your Northern California and Nevada Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go down and test drive, I'm telling them that Charlton and Big C sent you. Also, Big C, I'm reminded of how pretty the Escalade is. Every time I'm driving by them, I told you they're always clean out here in California. But I saw one pull up to the University of Nevada. They actually had Idaho plates. Okay, so I guess they drive through the mud in Idaho, unlike in California. But thank you, Cadillac, for sponsoring Charlton and Big C Sports on iHeartRadio. Also, Big C, I just want to say Khalil Mack is actually following us on Twitter. He followed Charlton and Big C Sports, the future All-Pro, I think Hall of Fame linebacker for the Oakland Raiders. Again, he played at the University of Buffalo, which Nevada also has on their schedule this season. But I want to bring this up to you also because you know Joey Bosa out of Ohio State, right? Ohio State, Joey Bosa, for some reason, doesn't want the money, the multi-million-dollar contract that they're offering him. He's willing to sit out a season and think he's going to get more money next year when you have other people who are at the college level who are already going to be recruited. And it's almost like if you're hot right now, like here in Nevada, a lot of people gamble and it's legal, Big C. I mean, I know you guys down south, you guys gamble too, Big C, but it's a little bit different in setup. But when you gamble, okay, you roll the dice. But if you have someone giving you, $35 million and you're broke in college, why would you not take it because he thinks he's worth $50 million? Does that make any sense, Big C?
Charlton, it's really stupid on Joey Bosa's behalf. They're offering him $17 million as a signing bonus, so he's getting most of his money up front.
Yeah.
But he's talking about restructuring what the Players Association did back in 2011 as far as putting in the rookie salary cap.
Yeah.
So you no longer got these Sam Bradford salaries where rookies were coming in making more money than the veterans.
Yeah.
Now, San Diego's not a great team, Charlton, when you look at it. If you're drafting third in the draft, that means you have a very weak record.
Yeah.
And Joey Bosa is not going to be a game changer for the San Diego Chargers. San Diego Chargers would be better off cutting bait, letting him sit out the entire year. Now, you got to remember, Bo Jackson did that years ago when he was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He just decided to sit out the entire season, came back the next year because he was also playing Major League Baseball with the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
But he came back the following year, and he was drafted in the 6th round by the Oakland Raiders. Had a short, illustrious career with the Raiders prior to the hip injury. But Joey Bosa is not going to be that type of impact player. Now, you got to understand, Charlton, if he holds out, doesn't sign, wants to re-enter the draft next year, okay?
Who's going to take him?
But he can't go to the combine, Charlton.
Yeah.
He can't work out for any individual teams. So it's going to be a crapshoot to draft him. And he's not going to make more money, Charlton. He's not going to be the first three draft picks. He may go second or third round because every year, Charlton, there are young players on the college football level that just shoot to the top and are great players and have tremendous seasons. And those players are your first and second round draft picks, Charlton.
And you're right, Big C. And again, just up here running around, seeing some of the athletes at Nevada, there's about 90 guys out there in the heat. It's only about 90 degrees, gorgeous weather, and so many of these guys want to be the next NFL player. But you only know there's going to be maybe 3 that make the chance, that have the chance to make it, maybe 2 that actually make a team, because you have 120 Division I programs in the United States, and you have guys that are coming out of Division II colleges. There's not that many jobs every year on an NFL roster. And even making the roster,
156 to 200 jobs every year on NFL rosters. And you got to also look at it from this perspective, Charlton. For every young man who gets a job, there's a little older man who loses a job, Charlton.
Yeah, and see, that's something else, too, because just being up here and calling Kaepernick country, he's going to play the game. At least that's what Coach Kelly says. He's going to play the game against Green Bay on Friday night down at Levi Stadium in San Francisco. And some of the media pundits, they keep trying to compare Kaepernick to who they want to be their quarterback. Now, here's a guy I just mentioned had over 10,000 yards passing and over 4,000 yards rushing in Division I college football. They have him also a guy who's been to the NFC Championship game twice for the 49ers, also to the Super Bowl for the 49ers. And here's a guy that came off of surgery, but the Bay Area media keeps saying, well, are they going to start Gabbert or are they going to start Kaepernick? I just asked them again, show me how many times that Gabbert in college passed for over 10,000 yards and rushed for over 4,000 yards in his career, how many NFC Championship games he's been in, and how many Super Bowls he's been in. How many times has he beaten Aaron Rodgers? How many times has he beaten Tom Brady on the road, Cam Newton on the road? How many times has he beaten Russell Wilson? I mean, you got to start saying those things when you're looking for a player, because Bosa's trying to hold out to get more money. The 49ers already have a guy who has a proven track record, and the media is still saying, but is he our guy, Big C? And I don't know where that comes from other than they just want some guy like Blaine Gabbert, who didn't even last long in Jacksonville. Big C, your thoughts on Kaepernick, whether he starts or not? I think take it slow, don't rush back and get injured again, and build up your strength again and just get ready for the regular season, because no matter who they start, Big C, the guy with the better credentials is Kaepernick. Your thoughts on that?
Well, when you look at the two comparisons, Charlton, on their college level as even well as in the professional level, you know, Blaine Gabbert backed up Chase Daniels, who's the backup quarterback in Philadelphia right now behind Sam Bradford.
Yeah.
I believe Blaine Gabbert's senior year in college, he passed for some 2,800 yards. Everyone at that time was trying to say that he would have been a better choice than Cam Newton to go number one in the draft because of his stature.
Are you talking about Mel Kiper again, Big C? Your friend Mel Kiper? Yeah.
Mel Kiper sold the country on that.
Where's he been lately, Big C?
Blaine Gabbert was a better quarterback and more NFL ready than Cam Newton.
Well, wasn't he?
We've seen the success that Cam Newton has.
Yeah.
And once again, you know, it's a Mel Kiper crapshoot.
Yeah.
As well as he said, Greg McElroy out of Alabama was more NFL mentally ready than Cam Newton. You know, Mel Kiper has a thing that he doesn't like people to color his hair.
Yeah,
so,
I understand.
You know, you can look at it like from that perspective.
I think the problem, I think Mel Kiper's been down there hanging out with you good old boys in the SEC and sipping on too much moonshine, Big C. That's what I think is going on with Mel Kiper. Your thoughts on that, Big C?
Well, you know, I look at it from this perspective, Charlton. If San Francisco was so sold on Blaine Gabbert, okay, and this is the media that's sold on Blaine Gabbert. Why did they sign Christian Ponder last week?
Yeah.
Christian Ponder is a cast-off from the Minnesota Vikings. He was a former number one drafted 13th in the first round.
Yeah.
And now, just like Blaine Gabbert, he's a cast-off. So, you know, San Francisco over the past couple of years, Charlton, has pulled quarterbacks off the scrap heap.
Yeah.
But that's just what they are as far as NFL talent. They're scrap NFL talent. They're not potential starters, Charlton. They're potential backups. But, you know, Blaine Gabbert right now is playing against Christian Ponder, who's the number two quarterback. Colin Kaepernick, Chip Kelly is not stupid.
Yeah.
He might have been crazy playing the media role.
Right.
But he's not stupid. If he wants to keep an NFL job, he's going to have to put a quarterback in that runs his system. And that's Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
He proved in Philadelphia. Michael Vick was running that offense and having some success till he got hurt. But physically, he was worn down.
I agree.
You know, he put in the other kid out of Arizona who is now with Kansas City.
Yeah.
Can't think of his name at the moment. But he had success throwing a lot of touchdowns. Then he goes out and gets Sam Bradford.
Yeah.
Sam Bradford couldn't play in the system. But Colin Kaepernick is Chip Kelly's best chance
at
having success in the NFL. He's going to be just like what he had in college where he had Mariota.
Yeah.
But if he wants to play this dumb media game that the guys who are writing that don't like Kaepernick because Kaepernick doesn't say the things that they want to hear when they're trying to do a story, he makes their stories difficult for them. It makes them have to think.
Well,
it's almost like watching ESPN where you got to read a teleprompter because you have no thoughts of your own.
They just want to read what they're seeing. Also tonight around the NFL, and again, you love talking about good quarterbacks. We have Atlanta playing Miami. That game's going to be played in Orlando. But I think that's a game that, of course, it's preseason. But Ryan, who never takes the kind of fight that Kaepernick had, the last time Matt Ryan was in the playoffs, he actually lost to Kaepernick, but I think he has a $120+ million contract, Big C. They're playing versus Miami. Your thoughts on that game?
Well, when you think about the two quarterbacks in that game, Charlton, Ryan Tannehill. What has Ryan Tannehill ever did since he's left Texas A&M? Have the Dolphins ever gotten close to the playoffs?
They watched it.
He has a $100 million contract also. And doesn't come under any flack. We're hearing all of this about Kaepernick. And Kaepernick, I believe, was drafted the same year that Tannehill was. He went the second round. Tannehill was a first-round draft pick with no success. So, when you look at the quarterbacks that were drafted in that draft, Cam Newton went in the first round. Andy Dalton went the second round. Colin Kaepernick went the second round. Those are the three quarterbacks in that draft, Charlton, that have had all the success.
All of the success, Big C.
And you can basically classify Andy Dalton as a minority because he's a redhead.
Yeah, I think you can say that also, Big C. And he actually plays like a minority quarterback if it comes to winning, Big C. Another good game that I have coming up tonight, actually starting at 7 o'clock p.m., the Dallas Cowboys playing at the Seattle Seahawks. In regular season last year, Dallas actually beat the Seahawks, but a lot of people had an easier time beating Seattle for some reason, a lot of injuries. But they have Prescott, and I know this may not be popular to say because Jerry Jones is so used to losing, he's going to keep riding Tony Romo. But I think Prescott, get him ready to play the second half of the season because Romo's already done everything he can do for you for the Dallas Cowboys. He's shown that he's not an NFL quarterback that's going to win you championships. He's not going to win playoff games. He's just going to be marginal, Big C. And I know a lot of people, they still want to believe in Romo, okay? Kaepernick's had a much better career than Tony Romo has. One of them they want to keep. The other guy they want to run out of town. I think Prescott, at least at the second half of the season, should be the starter for that team, even if Romo doesn't get hurt, because if you're going to build your future, you got to build it with the guys that can give you one, and that's not Romo. Your thoughts on that, or is that jumping too soon, Big C?
Well, no, it's not jumping too soon, Charlton. When you look at the quarterbacks that were in the draft, who's had success this year, Charlton? Let's be realistic. Dak Prescott has had success. Cordell Jones has had success, Charlton. Two African-American quarterbacks. But they're not getting any press. The quarterbacks that are getting press are the quarterbacks that are not going to play this year. Jeff Goff
and Carson
Wentz.
Yeah, and we want them to succeed. Yeah, we want them to succeed. But like you said, just the facts are enough to say if you're an NFL GM or even a head coach, I know they want a certain look. They want a white Caucasian quarterback because that's what the NFL has always wanted. And there's still some good old boys that run the system. They still want to see that even if they lose, Big C. So that's what I think it is. I think it's all about race. I don't think it has a lot to do with who's the better quarterback. I think they're going to take a marginal quarterback and try to keep him on the forefront because they still want a white guy being their leader of their team. That's just my honest opinion, and a lot of athletes feel the same way, Big C.
Well, Charlton, if it was based on productivity and winning in college, why didn't Jake Coker go in the first round out of Alabama? I'm trying to remember what he did last season at the end of the season against Clemson. He won this thing that they call a what? National championship. He wins the national championship as a first-year starter at Alabama. What did Jeff Goff do? He won 14 games in college.
Yeah, but that's
and Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz played against the JV team.
Yeah, and both of them they conspicuously ended getting hurt in the first preseason game, and they were so hurt that they both even played in the second game. But the media is already trying to cover up for their ineptitude. They're just not ready. I know people are going to try to find a way to sneak them out of the back door, and I hope they make it. But my eyes have told me something. The media tells me something different, Big C. And I also want to say that when you look at Russell Wilson, he and Zach Prescott, I heard there's a great coach, Tony Dungy. When you look at Prescott and you look at Russell Wilson, they're the same. I think Prescott's a little bit taller, but they're the same type of athlete. And when I saw what Russell Wilson did last year, he tore the league up, but Pete Carroll gave him a chance, Big C. And that's what I don't see Jerry Jones and the good old boys doing in Dallas because they're so accustomed to losing. I think if Jimmy Johnson was the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, you see Prescott starting maybe even week 2 or 3, Big C.
Well, you got to remember when Russell Wilson was drafted, Charlton, he was a third-round draft pick out of North Carolina State. The Seattle Seahawks had just signed Matt Flynn. This quarterback from Green Bay who had one game and it was worth $15 million. You start
that's
one
a lot of money
as a white quarterback, you get a $15 million paycheck. But he never got a chance to realize any of that other than the signing bonus because Russell Wilson said, "I'm a real quarterback." And he showed the fans and the coaching staff in Seattle what a real quarterback plays like. Well, and you think about Russell Wilson's career. He's one play away from back-to-back Super Bowl wins.
I agree. I agree.
One play, Charlton. So this young man can play football. And when you think about his status with Dak Prescott, Charlton, Dak Prescott has proven. You don't hear Mel Kiper coming out. You don't hear Todd McShay coming out.
No.
It was a fluke. They tried to say that after the first game. And they didn't tell you how bad Wentz and Goff struggled. Because they didn't recognize the speed of the NFL game.
Well, I definitely agree with that, Big C. And this segment is sponsored by the California Lottery. What could a buck do for you? Ironically, we're broadcasting from Nevada, near the University of Nevada, and I think everybody gambles up here, Big C. I've never seen so many people putting money in slot machines when I buy my lotto ticket. And I told you I bought that winning ticket for a Powerball that happens tomorrow night in California, but it's $127 million. And again, I don't even think that would excite Joey Bosa, Big C, $127 million. But I'll take it, Big C. We'll split that money. At the same time, I want to say this segment is also sponsored by United Labor Insurance, guaranteed life insurance up to $100,000 with no medical questions. We're also endorsed by the American Cancer Society and the American Heart Association. I'm looking to hire over 1,000 licensed insurance brokers to put the people back to work. And we also are endorsed by all of the unions in the United States under the AFL-CIO. You can tweet out the Charlton and Big C Sports, and also follow us on iHeartRadio. Now, Big C, we covered some NFL football. We talked about a little bit of college football and Nevada schedule. But I want to get on a subject that ESPN is doing tonight. I think it's important. And I think, and again, I'm going to pat you on the back this time too. It's because this awareness that we've been talking about, not being a sycophant, and we know that Michael Jordan has been someone who's been so prominent over the years, but he's been silent because he wanted to appease the white sponsorship that don't want to see intelligent black men talking about issues that can help young black kids, or young white kids too. But they're doing this thing on Black Awareness on ESPN. It's actually being narrated, I think, by her name is Janelle Hill, and she's going to do a great job. She's a great reporter. I just want to get your opinion on it. Being in the South, you grew up around Jim Crow. Here out West, people may be that same way, but they don't show it as much. What do you think this is going to accomplish, especially with the lack of white broadcasters that are going to be a part of this program, Big C?
Well, Charlton, there's two things that need to be accomplished. Only half of it can be accomplished tonight. And that half is the mentorship and leadership and the voice of the prominent black athlete and former black athletes. You're going to have former athletes like Isaiah Thomas on the show, Charlton, who grew up in the Michigan, Detroit area. So, you're going to have voices like this speaking. The problem is that there's no hope.
Yeah.
You got to be realistic about the problems of the African-American community, Charlton. There's no hope. Hope has been stolen. We see those few professional athletes. We see those few black entertainers, mainly in the music industry.
Yeah.
But there's no hope. Let me give you a troubling statistic, Charlton.
Yeah.
Real troubling. We watch the world news every night, and we see what goes on in Bosnia and Iraq and these other countries, Charlton.
Yeah.
With the bombing and the devastation that goes on. 2,700 people have been shot in Chicago. 2,700. Where are we at? We're just at about the end of August?
Yeah.
Almost 8 months through the year. 2,700. Tell me, what night do you see the national news covering the devastation in our own country, Charlton? We want to show the world to deflect from the problems that we have here. So when we talk about the problems, that's why I said only half can be solved tonight. Because until the national networks make it an issue about problems in the inner cities, and not just Chicago. Chicago's leading the nation in the world in people being shot.
Yeah.
But, you think about this when there's no hope for people. This is the result of having no hope, and that's what we see in these Middle Eastern wars. People with no hope. When you see these people with these strap-on bombs on their body, they have no hope for the present. So they don't care about the loss of human life, just like we have in Chicago and other industries. I really appreciate this quorum going on tonight, Charlton.
Yeah.
But what these guys are talking about is not corporate America. Corporate America is the crux of the problem that we have in inner city America, Charlton, when there's no hope. And remember that. Jesse Jackson used to say, keep hope alive, and he was from Chicago.
Yeah.
But there's no hope now. When you've closed out all the industries, you've taken everything out of the country. It's like when we were talking about EpiPen the other night, okay?
Yeah.
EpiPen has escalated from $99 up to $600 per pen. We're talking about a life-saving injection for 42 million Americans.
Yeah.
So if you got 42 million Americans having to buy this pen at $600 a shot, we're talking about a $4 billion business, Charlton.
It's huge.
And the CEO of EpiPen, whose dad is a senator from West Virginia, she's making $19 million, Charlton, and putting American lives at peril. That's why I'm saying corporate America doesn't care and there's no hope. So there'll be some little kid, Charlton, under 10 years old in the next month or two that will come to an unfortunate death because he cannot afford an EpiPen.
And you know, Big C, that's a crazy thing too. And even with this forum, and this is why I'm so proud of African Americans, because my white brethren, they refuse to do shows like this unless it's someone like ABC News or NBC News. But I don't see my brethren, whether it's Jim Nance, even if it's someone like the great Phil Simms. You know, he's always on football. Even Al Michaels, and I respect what they do in the broadcast booth, but Al Michaels, he's a paragon of broadcasters. Why not have him be a part of this sit down with these analysts who are African American? Because
let's get Vern Lundquist.
Vern Lundquist, yeah. Why not?
Let's get them all. Let's get John Gruden up in there.
Yeah.
I mean, all these people that are broadcasting the sporting events that are supported by African American athletes, Charlton. Let's get all of these people in there. Kurt Herbstreit, you know, all of them. You know, Chris Fowler. Let's bring them in. Let's talk. These are the people who are the voices of America.
Yeah.
Yes, it's nice to have a few black athletes, but who are talking about the black athletes all that? Marv Albert, let's get him in. Ernie Jones. Bring these people in. Let them put a realistic spin on what's going on. Because tonight, Charles, it's just black people talking.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I agree.
Once the show goes off, it's just going to be black people talking, spewing their anguish and disgust with America. If they don't like America, leave America.
Well, see,
okay? That's what you're going to hear.
Yeah. And see, that's important, too, because, I mean, we have as much consciousness as anybody. And I challenge anyone to put up their content based on what we do. We've just talked about some scores. We diagnosed the Dallas Cowboys in the Seattle game tonight. We looked at Miami. We looked at Atlanta. But some of that's important that ESPN is doing. And I know they're following your lead, Big C. But I would love to see. I don't want to see white sycophants broadcasters who a lot of them are my friends, and they know they get hired first or they get fired last. They know they get more money. They know they get the first choice of games. But most of the athletes they're covering happen to be black athletes. Okay, they're not going into stadiums full of 90,000, 100,000 fans to broadcast a game where you have 10 of the athletes on the offense white and 8 of the athletes on defense white. It's mostly 10 black guys on offense and defensive side of the ball, and that's a fact. But when it comes to saying what they could do to help keep young black kids safe, like Black Lives Matter, outside of Aaron Rodgers for the Green Bay Packers, all my white brethren, they've been silent. And I don't see what happened when black America stands up to fight for a cause. We've always had white Americans helping the civil rights movement, okay? When Dr. King marched, it wasn't just black Americans. It was Lyndon Johnson that passed the voting rights bill. And because sports brings people together, I'm tired of my white brethren that sit back comfortable, afraid to say anything that's going to benefit young black lives. Even in most sales positions, you have 1 or 2 black salespeople on a team, and there's mostly Caucasian. I know that because I'm in sales myself. So I'm telling people, quit being afraid, quit letting our white brethren off the hook. I want to see Troy Aikman. I want to see Joe Buck. I want to see Jim Nance. I want to see Phil Simms. I want to see Al Michaels sit down with these group of black men the same way we do in the huddle or for the Hall of Fame. We sit down and we shake hands and we congratulate each other. Why do they part ways when it comes to them saying something that could help the white community open up opportunities?
Look at what just happened in the Olympics, okay? You had Ryan Lochte, blatant liar.
Yeah.
All over the news. Who was defending him? NBC.
Yeah.
NBC News, the white announcers on NBC were defending Ryan Lochte, coming to his defense. And Charlton, even after they saw that he was a blatant liar, they said, well, maybe he exaggerated on something. No, that punk told a lie.
Yeah.
That's all he did. He just straight up lied to America. He lied to a nation. He lied to the Olympics. He lied to the police. He lied to his mother.
Yeah.
He lied to everybody. Now, think about that, Charlton, if it had been an African-American athlete making up that type of story, telling that type of lie.
Well,
what would happen to him? I remember several years ago, Marion Jones, the great sprinter.
Yeah.
She told a lie about PEDs, okay?
Yeah.
She told a lie about it. She went to prison, Charlton, She was stripped of all of her medals in performing during that time that she was alleged to have used the PEDs, okay?
Yeah.
What's going to happen to Ryan Lochte? Yes, he's lost a couple of sponsors. Will he go to jail? Will he be banned from international competition for life? That's what needs to be done. Set a precedent, Charlton, against a white athlete. Well, You've done enough against the black athlete.
Well, think about this.
Set a precedent against the white athlete.
Think about this with this segment coming up, too. Tiger Woods lost over $100 million in sponsorship as the best golfer in the world because his Caucasian wife broke out the window of his Cadillac Escalade. She didn't go to jail. She wasn't arrested. Imagine if you reversed it, where he broke out the window of her car and chasing her down the road over people. What do they do in the back of the golf course? Whatever they do with their private lives. All entertainers, most athletes and entertainers, if they're going to be real, and this is real talk, they have something on the side. That's just a fact. If you don't believe that, then go back and live in fairy tale land. But one race of people lost over $100 million. Now, everyone's coming to Lochte's defense. And I want to say this final segment is sponsored by One Life America Life Insurance. We're the leaders in the country when it comes to offering final expense. And I'm an insurance broker looking to hire over 1,000 licensed insurance brokers to put people back to work. Tweet out the Charlton and Big C Sports and follow us on the iHeartRadio network. I also want to say hi to David Gibbons, who's done a great job helping put together a proposal package for following Charlton and Big C Sports on iHeartRadio. I also want to thank BeneathThisWingsFoundation.org and also CYNN Entertainment for all their help putting on Charlton and Big C Sports. Big C, the final thing I'll bring up tonight, and I love because we talk about it so much, is this college football environment. Again, being here at the University of Nevada, seeing all these big, strong athletes, about 90% of them happen to be African-American, and I say that because they're not getting paid. I just realized there's so much construction going on here at this university, and we'll cover other universities throughout the year as well, and going to cover some NFC and also AFC football games as well. We'll go live on those sites. But I just want to make this point because that program tonight on ESPN, and I don't want to let him off the hook because it was Tom Kelly, a broadcaster at USC, that helped get me in the business about 20-some-odd years ago. I want to see them on these panels. Don't just leave it up to young black men and black women seeing what ails our young society. I think sometimes people perceive us as a black Donald Trump, just a few $1 billion less than what Donald Trump has right now, Big C. But we'll catch him pretty soon. We'll catch him pretty soon, Big C. But I just want to say that I'm so proud of my black American broadcasters and some of the white ones too. But you guys that are silent, I'm not proud of you at all. I hate sycophants people. If you have a microphone, someone might be willing to listen to you. And no one with fear in their heart can make change happen that's good in this country. You have to be bold. I'm proud of what Jim Brown has done over the years, and especially LeBron James lately taking his own money, creating an investment group in Cleveland, Ohio. Now, where are my white brethren doing it? Where's Roethlisberger? Where's Tom Brady? Where's Al Michaels? I mean, where are these guys? Where's Phil Knight? Maybe they are philanthropists, but if they're doing it in secret, Big C, then they can't motivate young people. And I just want you to close out the show saying, whether it's advertising on iHeartRadio or sponsoring Charlton and Big C Sports, what are they getting for their money outside of, hey, you know who won the game last night? Your thoughts on that, Big C?
Well, Charlton, when we look at it, what you get far as back, you get involved and you get to be represented by the truth.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you really want in life. You know, when we talk about lack of opportunity, and this show, like I said tonight, is great, but will it create opportunity? Opportunity is created by corporate America, those same people who advertise, Charlton.
Yeah.
When they put their monies in the right place, they get the proper results, Charlton. If they advertise in the right place, they invest in the right place in America, they will create hope. And that's what America needs. It needs hope through advertising, and advertising is delivering a message. They can advertise where the next business quorum is going to be, the next employment quorum is going to be, Charlton, the next plant that they're opening up. This done through advertising. But they have to create opportunity and hope for young America, Charlton. Without hope, we're going to continue to have Chicago, 2,700 people shot in 8 months.
That's
2,700, Charlton.
Incredible.
That's no different than the Middle East. But the national broadcast networks will not show it, Charlton.
Well, Big C, I love what we do. I absolutely love Charlton and Big C Sports. I love covering the sports business because the sports business is more integrated than the church. And I just hope that all of our brethren who have access to a microphone, whether you're black or white, male or female, Hispanic, doesn't matter. I just think it's a shame when only black broadcasters have the guts to stand up and say what needs to be done to fix our ills in society when it comes to the exploitation of young kids. And if they don't have a job, they're going to try to do something to eat. And that's important. That keeps all of our kids safe. So again, I'm asking our white brethren, if you have access to a microphone, don't be a dumb sycophant. I mean, we've had that image for so long as athletes. I hope that you could take the lead of the African-American broadcasters and start seeing what's going to take to keep all of our society safe and create opportunities for everybody. And speaking of opportunities, you can hear Charlton and Big C Sports every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, worldwide on the iHeartRadio network. We're always going to keep it real for you. I also want to say, keep all of our women safe in our society. We know the sports season, a lot of times people tend to drink too much moonshine, Big C. If you have any issues, call 911 and keep our women safe. But also, don't be a sycophant. Let's talk about what people really need to be safe. And you can follow us every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, worldwide on Charlton and Big C Sports. We thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.